Welcome back to 80s Comics for the review of Centurions Power Extreme, issue number 3 from August of 1987, the third issue in a three-part miniseries featuring the Centurions. Another comic book from the 80s based on toys. It's hard to believe. And it's such a great feeling when you find something that you think is going to be terrible, which actually turns out to be pretty good. I was dubious when I first started to read the Centurions. I don't really like any of the characters. The concept is stupid. I wasn't into the toys, but gosh darn it, it makes for a good series of comic books. And let me tell you why. Because these three clowns are complete buffoons. And somehow, they manage to be likable. It's inexplicable. Max Ray, off-brand Tom Selleck. Jake Rockwell, nobody cares. Ace McCloud will probably be locked up for sexual harassment by the end of issue 4. Centurions! As the world grows more energy-dependent each year, not a day passes without scientists seeking new sources of power. One such search has brought a team of men and women to the volcanic island of Fujiti in the South Pacific. Look, they're harnessing the power of a volcano and M&Ms. And for those of you new to 80s comics, or to the Centurions, Crystal, who's like, I'm not really sure what her role is, but she's more competent than all three of them combined. So we're usually just rooting for Crystal. Maybe that's why I like the Centurions, because these three guys are such complete idiots. It's hard to believe they get anything done. But in this issue, they do, without her help, and you'll see why shortly. As the Centurions teleport down to Earth, you can almost read the dialogue there. Beam me down, Higgins. Yeah, I just thought of that. They shout Power Extreme, and Crystal teleports them where they need to go with their fancy exosuits. And you can buy these as toys, I guess. I never had any of those. I was all about G.I. Joe and Transformers and missed the Centurions. So they go down to Fujiti Island or whatever and rescue all of the natives wearing headbands. But then the volcano erupts, knocks them all out, and almost murders them with lava. We're so close to getting rid of the Centurions. But no, Crystal, who, like I said, is the only competent one among them, teleports them out of harm's way into hospital beds. But, the joke's on them. They're deaf. This is Ace. Remember I said Ace was going to get arrested? Honey Bunch, did you say you were here to give me a kiss? I could really use one. Instead of kicking him in the face, though, she just sicks her dog on him. You don't know where that tongue's been. Actually, you probably do. Like all 1980s bad guys in comic books, Doc Terror has a nefarious and half-baked plan to use a sonic disruptor to infiltrate his enemy's base. Who hasn't tried this? Cobra Commander did this like 5 times. So they turn this thing on, and everybody freezes and suddenly starts to obey Doc Terror. Or suddenly. So she freezes, but some of the other ones start to obey Doc Terror. There is a little bit of a plot loophole, but here's what's important. Since these three morons are deaf, conveniently, this sonic disruptor thing doesn't work on them. It's so dumb, but so incredibly likable. It's like, how are these three going to do anything? They don't have... Crystal's frozen. They can't hear. Like, even the dog is incapacitated. Great! Whatever zapped Crystal has also affected everybody else in here. Except Crystal's just frozen. The rest of these guys are actually starting to do some of the bad guys' bidding. And they let Doc Terror and Hacker into their secret underground lair. The Centurions try to contact their space station to have them teleport them their exosuits, but since they can't hear, they can't communicate and give their passwords. So Doc Terror, Hacker finally infiltrate, start shooting at them. They run and hide into a supply closet, cobble together some extra Centurion battle suits, and then they start to battle the unpaid interns who are controlled by the sonic disruptor blast or angry because they're unpaid. I'm not entirely sure. It could be either one, really. But they don't hurt them because the Centurions are good guys. As dumb as they are, they're still the good guys. But then the guy that looks like Tom Selleck turns on one of the sprinklers, and since he's the water Centurion, even though Doc Terror doesn't take him seriously, the sprinkler and the water give him like super water powers. It's really unclear what happens here. He basically just splashes him in the face and knocks out Doc Terror. It's really stupid, but so thoroughly entertaining because of it. Finally, Crystal wakes up, and let's see if we're on the same page here. How do you say diplomatic immunity? If you don't say diplomatic immunity, like the bad guy from Lethal Weapon 2, then you just weren't there. Diplomatic immunity. So they can't kill them or arrest them, but they can lock them into a shipping crate and FedEx them to New Jersey. The fate worse than death. New Jersey! I love that they're all fighting Doc Terror in their bathrobes. Like, it's just such a ridiculous series. I love it. Centurions, issue number 3. It just keeps getting better. And I have to admit that I'm disappointed the series really didn't continue for much longer. As far as I know, it only went 4 issues, but I feel like they could revive this one today. It's just so stupid, yet somehow timeless and entertaining because of it. And I wasn't even a fan of the toys, and I dig Centurions. And wait till you see issue number 4. It'll give us a reason to shout EDF in addition to Power Extreme. Trust me on that. Issue number 3, in fact, the entire series, is highly recommended by 80scomics.com. Back away from the speakers. You ready? Power Extreme.